Hey guys, welcome to the review of Call of Cthulhu. If you haven't been to one of these reviews before, I've only done one so far. I don't want to give it a score so much, like a number. I just want to give a quick pros and cons list of the game, and then just kind of give a final verdict of if it's worth playing, or wait for a sale, or don't bother playing at all. Alright guys, so let's get into it. Call of Cthulhu, the first pro. I thought the story was fantastic. I loved the whole thing from the start to the end. There might have been one lull. I think it was the first asylum section where you have to escape. Wasn't overly fond of it, but it wasn't a big deal breaker for me. But overall, the story was fantastic. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Like, I would highly recommend it just for the story alone. Alright guys, cons. First con, animations were a bit wonky at the time. Or at sometimes, I mean. Just characters, like there's one part in particular I remember where you're in the library and Drake comes out with a gun, and when it first pops up with him to question you, there's like this weird animation with him, his gun's like waving all over the place and stuff. It was very strange, but it tends to happen from time to time. I mean, animations aren't always fantastic. Alright guys, another pro in the investigation system in it. I really enjoyed just the whole aspect of questioning people, and then the fact that if you are a pro in investigation, you can ask certain questions. If you're a pro in occultism, you can ask certain questions. And the fact that you can only learn occultism through looking through that kind of stuff, like statues and symbols and all that. And then medicine, how you can learn from reading medicine books. That's the only way you can learn. You can't just upgrade yourself with CP points. But it was overall, like, I enjoyed that. I didn't realize going into it that it was that much investigation. And I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. Okay guys, another con. Some of the character stories just kind of dropped off. Like, the groundskeeper just kind of disappeared in the story. The one that was looking after the Hawkins mansion. And Kat, particularly. Near the end of the game, she just kind of was like injured. And we never really get a resolution as to what happened to her. She just kind of disappeared. Maybe she survived. I doubt it, because I let Cthulhu out. I called Cthulhu, so I assume everyone died in the world. I think that's how it works with him. I'm pretty sure he like drives everyone mad. I don't know 100% sure, but alright guys, another pro for me. The H.P. Lovecraft lore. I just really enjoy fantastical creatures and supernatural stuff. Like, that's my jam, really. And to see him at the end was pretty neat. You don't see a lot of creatures in this though. There's like, they're wearing the masks. You see the Leviathan that they've been eating for I don't know how long. And that's pretty much it. So I was a little surprised that there wasn't more to it. But in a way, I guess it makes sense, because you don't want these creatures running around town everywhere. And then you'd have to turn it into like a first-person shooter or something. It makes sense. Alright guys, another on for me. This kind of goes with the animations, I guess. The lip sync was a bit off through the entire game, I found. You kind of get over it after a while, because you realize it's not gonna be 100% all the time. But that was something I just noticed, kind of nitpicking as I go along here. Another part for me was the whole, I guess this kind of goes with the investigation system for a pro. The occultism aspect was really neat. Like, I like how you start out not knowing anything about it. Like, you have 0% knowledge of it, and maybe it's like 10%, I can't remember, but it's very low. And as you go and find things, you become more and more familiar with it. But I kind of think like the more and more you know, the more and more insane you go. So I feel like it's better not to know the entire time and to ignore everything occult. It would be interesting to go back and replay it and ignore everything occultism that you can find just to see what happens. Okay, guys. Another con for me, a big one, was load times. I found at times the loading screens were probably anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes long, and it just seemed a bit long. I don't know if that's something that can be fixed. I don't know if they want to at this point. The game has been out for 2 years on PS4 and Xbox. I guess it came out last year on Switch, Nintendo Switch, so maybe it's better on there. I played on PS4, so that's just another con. Another pro, the multiple endings. The one I got was I called Cthulhu because I wanted to see him, or Cthulhu as they call him. And so I called him, and I think it brought the end of the world. But apparently there are 3 more endings. And so I looked them up on YouTube. So in one you call Cthulhu, and the other one you kind of revocate the ritual in which you drive him away, but it drives you insane and you end up in the asylum, and Dr. Fuller is still there experimenting on you, I think. And the other 2 were, oh yeah, you get to the ritual and Pierce can shoot himself in the head so he dies, or you tell Sarah Hawkins that you're not going to go through with it, and she jumps off the cliff and dies. So either way, guys, there's not really a happy ending at all. You either call Cthulhu and destroy the world, you kill yourself, Sarah kills herself, or you go insane. It's kind of like classic H.P. Lovecraft. It makes sense. His stories always end with some kind of dread, so... Alright guys, another con. My last one on the list. The sanity meter, I didn't really understand why, as I journeyed through the game, if I hid in a locker, my sanity would start dropping, or if I had to crawl through a vent, my sanity would start... Like, it doesn't make sense to me that because I have to crawl through this vent, why am I going insane? Maybe he's claustrophobic, I don't know, but it didn't really make sense to me. It's just one minor con. And then guys, one of the pros for me, I know this probably wouldn't be a pro for a lot of people, but at the end where you just get like maybe a second glimpse, like 1 second glimpse at Cthulhu, we'll call them both. I love that the mystery is still kind of there. Like, you don't get this full-on boss battle with him. You don't look at him for more than a minute. Like, that's kind of how H.P. Lovecraft is, where all his stories, every time someone sees a monster in them, they're almost like indescribable. Like, that's how he always does his monsters and stuff. And I love that you just get a glimpse and then you realize, yeah, shit, the world's going mad. And this is the end. You brought on the end, guys. All right. So, guys, that is my list of pros and cons for Call of Cthulhu. Overall, it was like a really enjoyable experience. I loved it myself personally. Going into it, I thought it was more horror based, but it ended up being more investigative based, and it actually surprised me. Like, I was looking for a good horror game, but I love the way the story went, just the whole talking aspect and making your own choices, and how Pierce kind of falls deeper and deeper into the occultism and starts to lose his mind. Like, it reminds me of an H.P. Lovecraft book, like a story, and I love that about it. I really dug it. Alright guys, so overall, this game has been out for a while, but I would say it's worth buying for sure. You don't have to wait for a sale for this one. It's probably already cheaper than it was before. but I would recommend picking it up. It's a good playthrough. I enjoyed it a lot. Plus you can go back and play it 3 more times if you want to see all the endings, but I just ended up watching them on YouTube for time's sake. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. I appreciate all the views and support. If you guys are liking these videos, maybe drop a like and consider subscribing to the channel. That would be amazing. Alright guys, this has been the review for Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu, however you want to say it. Alright guys, thanks again. I'll catch you next time. Thanks.